Welcome to the Cancer Support Channel. I'm Dr. David Lemmon, naturopathic cancer expert. I'm here today with T. Forton-Barnes, and she is a healthy home advocate with cancer prevention in mind, owner of Green Living Gurus and T's Organics, and she has her own podcast, Green Living with T. And so we're going to be talking about toxic chemicals and the relation to cancer and do a deep dive on the molecular pathway today. So T, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
All right, welcome. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about your story and how you got into focusing on chemicals and detoxing and just how things got started for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my story is a little different than most people because I was very fortunate to grow up in a household in Buffalo, New York, where my mother, and not my father, because he didn't have a clue, but my mother had a clue. I'm 61 now, and three older sisters, younger brother. And we grew up in the 60s and the 70s when fast food was on the market and the big thing in households, and TV dinners, and clean your house with all these different products. And my mother was way ahead of her time. She was always ahead of her time. And she would not allow us to have fast foods. It was a big thing for us to even have pizza once a week. We had to beg for that. And so in cleaning the home, we had chores every Saturday, and we cleaned with baking soda and vinegar. And that's how that's what we knew. That's how we grew up. And coming home from school every day, we walked home and we had hummus and carrots and apples with cinnamon. And it was just what she wanted us to have in our lives. She was just advanced in that way. But I thought everybody ate that way. I thought everybody lived that way
Mm.
until I started realizing we were abnormal. And then people started calling us the granola heads. And we only shopped at this tiny little co-op that my mother worked in, that literally we all shop in still to this day, although it's 10
Wow.
times the size. It's like a little mini Whole Foods. But so that was something that we knew. That's all we knew. And when I went to college in 1981, I went to Ithaca College in central New York State. And my goal was to come out of college with, I had a major in business and a minor in health. And I had a business plan to open up this big health food store because everything we shopped at was, tiny little store. And that health food store as Whole Foods. And I had nothing to do with Whole Foods, unfortunately, because I was also a party planner. I was planning all the parties in high school. I was planning all the parties in college. It became a big industry at the time. I came out of college. I had this job with this party planning company. It was a dream come true. And since then, I've had my own business for 38 years, and I've been planning events in the Buffalo, Western New York area for that amount of time. And I've over 700 events. I've had a very successful, great career in that. But for 38 years, I have not lost sight of what I set my life out to do. And that was really to help people. And I've done it for those 38 years. Friends, family, cancer patients, survivors would come to me. I was just known to be that person to talk to Therese. She might be able to help you. And it wasn't a business. It was just something I did it out of, the love of helping people try to realize what these chemicals in our homes could be doing to us, what my mother taught me, what my grandmother even taught me. And through the last 4 decades, I have educated myself. I have taken courses. I have done everything I can possibly do without going back to college, which I really did not want to do, and learning all along and studying for the past 4 decades. But then 2020, I decided at that point, I wanted to really set out for the rest of my life what I really wanted, my true passion. And that was really helping people get their homes, get their lives to be healthier, but more toxic free. And then 2020 hit. And once 2020 hit, or COVID, I should say, which I was already on that path of doing that, I was lucky I had time to really focus on it. And that's what I've really been doing for 4 years, and diving in head first for these past 4 years, and really trying to get people to focus more on avoiding these toxic chemicals in your food, in your water, in your house, in your products, your personal care products, your cleaning products, and just opening up people's eyes to what is out there and what could be potentially causing cancer and so many other illnesses.
Yeah, it's challenging. There's at least 80,000 different synthetic chemicals in our
Yep.
environment, and none of them are tested for safety. alone or in combination with each other. So it's just this soup of synthetic chemicals that we're swimming in on a daily basis, and we don't really know what is causing what, but we know that cancer is rising the more of these chemicals get into the environment. So what do you do as a starting point to help a client to start to detox their home?
Yeah, so I typically try to start slow. I don't want people overwhelmed. It can be overwhelming because we could go through every room and I do eventually show them everywhere in your house that could potentially be causing some illnesses or adding to some illnesses. Because whatever you bring into your home, whatever you eat, whatever you put on your skin, whatever you buy for that matter, you have to always be conscious of what is this I'm bringing into my house? What am I buying to clean my floors with? What am I using to clean my laundry with? So most people understand that, yes, there's a lot of toxic chemicals out there, but they don't understand how many. Like you said, over 80,000 of them. There's 11 of them that have been disallowed in the United States. In the European Union, there's over 1,100. They're much more cognizant of these chemicals over in Europe, but we live in the United States, so we have to focus on that and what we have here. And what we have to do is, as citizens of the United States, we have to be in more control of what we are using and eating, because the FDA, the EPA, they only do so much. And the chemical industry is so powerful, and we have to pay attention to everything that we are using and eating. So to go back to your original question, one of the first things that I do, one of the areas I feel that people can change immediately the toxic load in their homes and their lives, is their laundry room. It's the first place I start. What you are washing your clothes with, which means what you're sleeping in, what you are wearing all day, what could potentially be outgassing in your home. And in addition to that, you're blowing it into the environment as well. So laundry detergent is loaded with ingredients, and so many of them can be toxic, harmful, cancer-causing chemicals. And number one ingredient, whenever you look for a laundry soap, the number one ingredient, and this is actually the first ingredient I get everybody to understand, whether it's laundry soap, shampoo, or anything you use, is the word fragrance. Fragrance in our industry is considered the other F word, because the word fragrance was brought onto the market from the 1940s when Chanel number 5 went to our government and said they didn't want to disclose the ingredients in their perfume. So it was a trade secret. So ever since then, that's how crazy this is, that if you have the word fragrance on your product, you do not have to disclose what is in that product. It could be fragrance, perfume, or parfum for that matter, suntan lotion, anything. If you think it really smells like coconut or lemon or lavender or ocean fresh, those are all things to get you to believe that those are what they are putting in it. But if the word fragrance is on there, it is something you always want to avoid. It's the first thing I get people to look at. Always. I get more people sending me pictures. What do you think of these ingredients? And I don't even have to look at the ingredients, but when I see the word fragrance, I said, I don't even need to see, there's a lot of toxic ingredients on the product they send me, but fragrance, you have to stay away from the word fragrance. They have found benzene in fragrance. Benzene is a known carcinogen, not a potential. It's known to cause cancer. So there's a laundry list of chemicals that are in fragrance that people are putting in their laundry. It's in their laundry detergent that you're baking, or not baking, but I mean, their clothes in hot water and then in your dryer. And if you're smelling anything on your clothes all day long, you're breathing in chemicals. That is a fact. And that's not my opinion. That is a fact, that those fragrance is made up of hundreds of different chemicals that they do not have to tell you what's in them. So that is the first area. And then think about it, then your sheets and your sleeping in. I've had more people that just think that they have allergies, and they wake up, or they have a head, they think they have a head cold in the morning. They think that it's the pollen. They think I wake up with like this scratchy throat, or I can't sleep. Well, your body is trying to tell you something always. And as a naturopath, you know that let's get to the root cause. What could be causing some of these issues that people are having? And that's the first area that I get anybody to look at because it's the most impactful, in my opinion, that they can change and decrease their toxic load.
Especially the dryer sheets, right? Because that's just
Oh,
pure fragrance and it just smells like a
yes.
toxic waste dump when you open up that box
I
of dryer
know.
sheets.
I know. And it's so hard for people to change. I know. I've held so many people's hands like, listen, you can do it. You don't have to throw anything away. Take it all. Take your dryer sheets, which again, you will never find the ingredients on a dryer sheet. Look that up online if you don't believe me, because they can put whatever they want in dryer sheets. Those are all chemicals. But take it all. I tell everybody to wrap it in a plastic bag and tie it really tight because you don't want it outgassing in your home anymore. But put it outside, get rid of it for a month or two, buy something fragrance free. Specifically, that's the first step you're going to do fragrance free. It's going to take a while because your clothes, your sheets, all are pretty much contaminated with those chemicals. And I mean, if it were me and I try to get people, go out and get a new set of sheets and start trying to sleep in those sheets that you wash in much cleaner detergent or laundry soap. I personally recommend something called Molly's Suds, which you can find on Amazon. It's not typically in a store, but if you're like, I can only buy at a store, seventh generation is okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. And some people are like, what about, these companies that say fragrance free or all clear? It's a small step in the right direction if you're going fragrance free. I do not like a lot of the ingredients on those conventional products, that they are still mixing a lot of chemicals into your detergent. So I do not like to recommend them. But Molly Suds is fabulous. Meloria is another one, but those are a little more advanced for people I know when they don't hear something mainstream. But I've never had a person come back and say, I need my laundry detergent back. Everybody, after you sleep and you live without this fragrance around you all the time, you will start to realize how toxic it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you will make that switch. So some people might be just addicted to that smell. They grew up with that smell. One of the girls it was hard. She's like, I can't give up dryer sheets. I said, just do it for a month. And she did it. And she said, I can't go back. I can't believe how awful those were, that I was breathing that in every single day. So, and once you understand what's in them, people think it's just a great smell, that they don't realize the toxicity level of it. So yeah, so definitely, I'm glad you brought up dryer sheets. And there's alternative to dryer sheets. I always like to talk about alternatives. The dryer balls work if you use them, properly. Wool dryer balls. People are like, what about static cling? And eventually, my personal opinion is, once you get rid of all those chemicals, we don't have static cling. I don't know what it is about the chemicals that could potentially also be adding to the static cling, but there's a layer of chemicals that it's very hard to get off your clothes. Eventually you will, but I highly suggest you start there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't noticed static cling since I grew up in the 80s either. So
Yeah,
must be
I know.
something that I'm doing or not doing that
Exactly.
eliminates that as well. So how do you kind of simplify the terminology? There's a lot about label reading, and people say, oh, if you can't pronounce the ingredients and foods or in things, then that's the sign. But the problem I have with that is the vitamins and the healthy things look like chemical names sometimes, like, you know, gamma tocopherol is the scientific name for vitamin E, and that's a healthy thing. But if someone was using that as a label reading thing to judge whether it's good or bad, then they might throw out the baby with the bathwater if they can't pronounce that healthy vitamin name, for example. So I kind of struggle with using that common, like, if you can't pronounce it, don't use it kind of idea. Do you kind of use that as a guideline for clients, or do you have a different way of helping teach to read labels?
Well, I mean, there's a fine line there, and I understand that. It's hard. I mean, I know a lot about ingredients. I will read them sometimes and be like, I've never heard that one, because there's new ones coming on the market all the time. And so the most important thing is that you're not reading the front of the jar the bottle, the box, whatever it is. You have to turn it around. There's so much greenwashing, which basically means the company is trying to get you to believe that there's healthy ingredients in the product that you are trying to buy. So you have to turn it around. Yes. Are you going to understand everything? No. But if you're going to put it on your skin, let's just say lotions, shampoos, deodorants, all that, you want to start understanding. A lot of the ingredients are the same. There's some that, and not all chemicals are bad. Out of 80,000, I can't tell you how many are okay, but they're not all bad. There's certain things, certain preservative chemicals that, are okay for that matter. But the amount of chemicals a woman puts on her body, just on her body. This is not eating, this is not breathing, this is not drinking out of the water fountain. Over 168 chemicals a day. Typically, men, it's closer to, I think, like 120. So you just want to be aware of like, what is this? Like lotion. There's things that you don't want to give up. I'm not giving up my hair color. I'm not going gray yet, right? But I'm going to find a product, which I use something called Madison Reed. It's a great company that they were sick of all the chemicals that were in all these hair colorings that are out there. And they fine-tuned it so we're not using all these harsh chemicals on our hair. So it's a matter of trying to just adjust some of the things you do. Do I like to use nail polish? Yes, but I'm not going to use nail polish with toluene in it. Toluene is a horrible chemical. I think it's actually a known carcinogen. But I take off nail polish. I only put it on if I go to a special occasion. Let your fingernails, your toenails breathe. But people that I help, that they have a certain shampoo. Well, if it has fragrance in it, you are breathing that fragrance in your hair all day long. Try to go fragrance free. Make small baby steps. Look at the lotion you're putting on your skin. Try to find something a little less toxic. Go to the health food store. Go to Whole Foods. Ask them. Look and see. Not everything is perfect. Not everything is great out there. Believe me. And even at Whole Foods, sometimes but they're pretty good. I look at some of the things. I love going in there and just looking at labels and just reading everything. But go to everybody's got most people have a little health food store or co-op, and that is around. And there's so many knowledgeable people out there at these stores that know the product lines. And we are very fortunate now because there are so many different options out there for whether it's makeup, hairspray, shaving cream, deodorants that are not full of all of these chemicals that are getting into our system. So it's just making baby changes, baby steps towards the right product, and don't throw out your deodorant, but look at it. Are you using antiperspirant, which is horrific? Look into some new deodorants, which is a lot out there. That Native is one of them. I mean, I list a ton of different products on my website that either people have told me about, or I've read about, or I've used. So there's just making steps in the right direction towards changes in your life.
Exciting. So after the laundry room, and I guess under the category of fragrances, that covers a lot of rooms with candles and air freshener sprays and all those kind of things. That's all fragrance, right?
Yeah, candles are bad. Candles you have to pay attention to, because if you're burning candles in your home that are unnatural, as in chemical fragrances in the candles, so now you're heating it up, which is even worse. And if it's a lead wick and you're burning chemicals in the wax with a lead wick, I've known people to do this where they have black soot on the wall or on the ceiling. Some people are really addicted to candles and they can't get rid of them. There's healthy ones out there. Fontana is one of them that they make candles with pure essential oils and not chemically derived scents. Unfortunately, a lot of the candle products are made overseas, over in China. So you just have to be careful. I mean, pay attention. If it says made with soy, if anything's made with something, you have to be careful. Made with is like, okay, it's made with, but what is it also made with? So those are some things you have to pay attention to. Made with essential oils is, people think, oh, essential oils, it's made with, but the law is it only needs 2% essential oils. They can put in there, 150 other chemicals. So again, you have to read the label. What is it really made with? And if it has the word fragrance on it, do not buy it. Or perfume, as I mentioned before.
So that's part of the greenwashing, is to add a little bit of essential oils so they can say that, but then they have the other fragrances and chemicals on the back.
Exactly, exactly. Yep, made with natural ingredients. If it has that on there, I wouldn't even buy it. Personally, I kind of laugh at products that say made with natural ingredients. I turn them around often. I'm like, oh my gosh, they say aloe, 1% aloe. It's like it's unfair to us as consumers. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. But we have to take our own health into our own hands and realize that we have to pay attention. We can't trust these companies that are marketing to us. And now they're using, like brown paper labels, make you think like it's made from the earth or natural products, So those are just things that you have to pay attention to. It's fragrance and food is like it's natural flavors. And natural flavors, they do not have to tell you what's in natural flavors when it's on a food label. So it's tricky. It's very hard for us as consumers. It's mind-boggling to me that they get away with it, but it's just pay attention, start reading everything that you buy. And what are those 10 long words that are going on your skin or going into your body some way or another? Our skin is our largest organ. So I try to pay attention to anything I put on my skin. I use a lot of coconut oil, organic coconut oil I put on my skin. At night we do, on my body. It's oily, so you got to be careful, but it's cheap and it's easy, and I know it's safe for me and it's good for me.
Yeah, olive oil is great, and coconut oil
Olive
and
oil.
castor oil are all
Yep,
amazing, healthy oils. So
exactly.
where else would you go after the laundry room? Is the kitchen the next?
Well, my second thing first is the laundry room. Second is cleaning supplies. And because cleaning supplies are used, some people use them daily. I think people over clean, but the cleaning industry, which is pretty much tied to the laundry industry, is, I mean, you walk down that aisle, they want you to buy 12 things. This is for, the counter. This is for the floor. This is for your walls, whatever. I mean, and then think about when you do walk down that aisle, what you're smelling. All the outgassing of all those products are just all chemicals coming into that aisle from all those products. I can't even walk down it. That was the only time I was happy I wore a mask during COVID, that I could wear a mask down that aisle. But seriously, those are all chemicals outgassing. So those are primarily cleaning products, right? And they want you to believe that you've got to use all these cleaning products to clean your home. Well, first of all, I grew up, I told you, with vinegar and water and baking soda, which is still how I clean. But I created my own, I don't think I told you this, but I created my own all-purpose cleaner that I love. Essential oils. Essential oils have natural antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral products in them. So I created a line of Teas Organics that I use as an all-purpose cleaner. And that's what it is. I use it for everything. So, but there's a lot of, thankfully, there's a lot of products out there now, same thing, that instead of using all of these chemical companies' products that are using different like ingredients that you are spraying on your counter, spraying in the air in your home, using on the floor, your pets, your kids, your fingers, their fingers are touching, you're breathing them in, they're lasting in your home. Your indoor air is now polluted with all of these. And the EPA actually has said that our indoor air quality in our homes is anywhere from 2 to 100 times more polluted than the outdoor air. This is one of the reasons why, because of all these products that are being used in our homes. And then put into account that so many homes are now airtight windows. They want you to, conserve energy, and there's nothing being circulated. So the cleaning products is the next area that I try to get people to look at. The industry tries to make you believe you have to spray all these things to kill germs. And we clean with Castile soap, which is basically just plain old soap, Dr. Bronner's, and then my all-purpose cleaner of vinegar and water and baking soda and essential oil. So it's, and the other thing is, and I'm sure you can vouch for that too. So many of these chemicals are killing off good germs. People are so germophobic, but unfortunately, we need, some of these good things in our bodies that we don't want to kill, and they weaken our immune system for that matter too. So, cleaning supplies is definitely the second area. I do the same thing. I'm like, let's get a tub, let's get all your cleaning supplies outside, and let's start fresh, and let's start there. So that's something. Again, it's unfortunately people think your house has to smell like Clorox for it to be clean. But unfortunately, I feel like personally, I think that's making your house more dirty just from bringing more chemicals into your home.
Yeah, it's amazing what just plain water will clean. I think 99% of the household cleaning, even
Mhm.
just the toilet brush from the toilet and water will get any of the rings and
Yep,
any of the stains off of the toilet. And you can mop with pure water. You can wipe your counters with the rag and pure water.
yep,
You don't need any natural or artificial chemicals, honestly.
nope. And
But
I bring up Dr. Bronner's all the time. They've been around over 100 years. They have a whole line of pure Castile soap. It lasts forever. And I use it for, all my any cleaning that I do. So besides my, all-purpose cleaner, but you don't need all these other products. And talk about all the plastic that's being used in these products that's being thrown out, ending up in our landfills, ending up in our oceans. So it would be a step in the right direction to try to start there as well.
do you have any experiences with clients of stories of their health problems clearing up after doing a home detox?
Oh, absolutely. Headaches go away, sinuses. I'll often bring in, if they're local, but if they're not, I suggest they go get an indoor air quality monitor, and we look and see what chemicals we are detecting. So we'll start. I love doing that because it kind of opens up their eyes to, wow, look at all these chemicals, that VOCs and different areas. But I show them, it's very simple to me where they're coming from. So then I do that. I help them with that sometimes. And then I'm a big believer in a air purifier.
Mm.
And we have them in our home. We have one in our bedroom, we have a kitchen, we have one in the living room. And I just want the cleanest air possible that we can be breathing in our home. There's so much pollution out there. Pollution can be brought in from the outside. And so getting clean indoor air that way is a huge benefit to everyone's health as well. And there's some simple steps that people can make sure their air in their homes are as clean as possible. Some people don't know that they have filters in air conditioning units. Those are window air conditioning units
Mm.
that you have filters you can clean. If you have a whole house unit, as we do with forced air, you want to change those filters. If you have ceiling fans, you absolutely want to wash those ceiling fans as much as possible. Get that dust off of there so you're not blowing it around. Take your shoes off when you come in the house so you're not trancing in pesticides and herbicides that are all over the place, unfortunately, outside. Those are some simple things. Dry cleaning. If you're bringing home dry cleaning, don't leave it in your car, first of all, because those are typically, dry cleaning is loaded with chemicals inside those plastic bags. Let it air outside before you bring the dry cleaning inside. And again, don't let it sit in your car so it's outgassing there. So simple little things like that that anybody can do that are going to help your indoor air quality.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges is cleaning has the word clean in it, and so people
Yep.
assume that it's clean, but I heard a study once about there's this discrepancy of wealthy women having higher incidences of breast cancer than lower income women. And after all of the matching for controls and trying to figure out and do the detective work of why that would be, the only thing that the researchers could come up with was the dry cleaning, that the wealthier women were doing more dry cleaning on a regular basis and having that
Interesting.
chemical exposure. And that was probably what was contributing to the higher incidences of breast cancer. So it's interesting that researchers are trying to find out those things and those little clues like dry cleaning and either not doing dry cleaning at all and not getting the clothes that need that, or at least outgassing and letting them sit in the sun on a clothesline or somewhere to get rid of some of those chemicals before you bring them
Yeah.
or wear them.
Yep. Absolutely. And you brought up researchers. There is so much research being done right now on this topic of chemicals and our health and cancer. There's an abundant amount. I actually sat in on a webinar on Friday, which was fascinating. And 25 years of research that they did on studying the blood and the levels of chemicals in them, and then how many ended up getting cancer and other illnesses. Basically, the summary was it's very evident that chemicals are causing so many of these illnesses. So much more research to be done.
Mm.
And the researchers that came on, one was over in Asia, China, actually. He said that, which was alarming to me, he said, one thing we don't know that's startling to them is that the chemicals they're finding in people's bodies, how they're all mixing too. So that is something that they're going to do more research on, but nobody really knows. If we put in 168 chemicals on our body a day, how do we know how these chemicals, interact with one another? We don't know. So my biggest thing that I try to get people to do is to reduce it as much as possible. You can't get rid of it. You can't go detoxing free. Nobody can be, but you can eliminate it as much as possible and do it in the places that you feel comfortable and that are easiest. In the kitchen, get rid of all your plastic storage containers, buy glass, buy stainless steel. All your cookware, if you're using any kind of Teflon or what's it called? Nonstick. Thank you, Therese. Nonstick cookware. Be very careful of that because those are chemical. It is specifically if there's any scratches in those nonsticks, that is a sure sign that you want to get rid of those because those are openings for the chemicals that those pots and pans are made of that are potentially getting into your food. So switch to stainless steel, switch to cast iron. I know it's harder to clean, but it's not that hard. It's better for your health. So there's just areas where you can make the changes. I know some people that I've helped with getting toxins out of their homes, they can't give up something. I'm like, well, you don't have to give up everything. You just try your hardest at slowly making changes in all these different areas that you can possibly reduce your toxic load, and don't get overwhelmed. Try to do it slowly, and most people then go on a path of, wow, this is, you start to make 2 changes, 3 changes, then you go down that rabbit hole, as I say, but it's fun and you can have fun with it. And there's so many people out there like you and your podcast and other information out there that can help you and guide you, through the course of becoming a low tox household.
Yeah, it can get really overwhelming, and if you think about it too much, it can cause, constant anxiety on a daily
Yes.
basis of, oh no, oh no, oh no. But do you have any other tricks or tips for helping people to relax and just kind of do their best and not worry about the rest?
Do your best. That's the key. Pay attention. Definitely look at bottles, cans. What are you spraying? The fragrance industry has made us think that everything has to smell like a certain way. That's the perfume industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. They are leveraging in Washington all the time.
Mm.
I've seen it. I've read what they're doing. I know what they're doing. They don't want us thinking that these fragrances are bad for us. So, Febreze, I mean, horrible what's in there that people are spraying. And I mean, you just have to pay attention to whatever you're using in your house. And some people are like, well, I want some type of scent in my home. I can't get away from it. Start looking into essential oils in a diffuser. I sometimes will just take cinnamon and orange peel after we've eaten orange, and I'll boil it up on the stove, and the scent is wonderful. So just pay attention to what you're using in your home because you potentially are breathing it in, and you can start eliminating those toxins from your house.
And what books or other experts have you learned the most from over the years?
Oh, the laundry list of books that I have. Oh boy. So I have a bunch of people that I follow. Erin Brockovich I have to talk about because I love her. She is just unbelievable what she's doing out there. She really is pushing still in the water industry, but she is fun to follow. And I just happened to watch her movie the other night, which was fun. Again, Erin Brockovich. And she's still fighting. for the rights of people and the water that we drink and the chemicals that are out there. And so, but she's got a book that she wrote called Superman's Not Coming. That is something I was telling my husband after the movie, he's like, you really enjoyed that movie. I said, I feel like I'm her. I feel like I'm doing what she was doing. I feel like I'm out there trying to help people see that there is some bad things on the market that we should not all be paying attention to and eating and drinking and putting on our skin, because that's what she did. She fought for the people of that one town and she won. And I just feel like I always feel like I'm her. I love her. I look up to her. And that is probably the number one person that I really admire for what she did. She really put her neck out on the line. And I sometimes feel like I am too, because I've done this for a long time. I know people have thought I was absolutely crazy, and now they're all coming back to me. Like my college housemates, for that matter, said,
Mm.
you were always teaching us things back then, and we thought you were a little crazy. And now, of course, you're not the crazy one. Now we're paying attention to everything you said. So, and then there's so many great books out there. Carrie Gillum used to be writer for Reuters, and her job was to cover Monsanto. And Monsanto would wine and dine her, flying private planes all over the place. And then she started digging into what Monsanto really was doing, and she started turning on them and writing not what they wanted to hear.
Mm.
And the chemicals that they were putting in, primarily Roundup. And then they tried to get her fired. I know her family was being threatened. Well, I give her so much credit because she stood up for her rights. She ended up writing two books I think she has out there now. This one is called Whitewash, and it's the story of the weed killer, cancer, and the corruption of science. So she's fascinating to follow as well. So, and I've interviewed her on my podcast as well. So she's definitely, I suggest you check her out. She's definitely somebody that I admire, and she's got young family, and she's fighting for our rights out there and trying to get rid of glyphosate and Roundup. And there's another chemical that she's now pushing forward to be eliminated in our, I think it's in a weed killer again too. So those are two. I could probably give you 20 more.
That's one of the other challenges with, you mentioned chemicals, and that just reminded me of like BPA, and this BPA
Mm,
free idea is
mm,
such a common thing in all these plastics, but then it's become this buzzword to sell more products that it's BPA free, but then what they're replacing the BPA with is just as bad or worse. So if it's still a plastic, then you have to just be really cautious about that BPA free concept and still use the glass or the stainless steel whenever you can, because the BPA free doesn't mean healthy.
That's right,
It means
right,
they found
right.
another chemical besides BPA to use.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. I had my urine tested, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago by Silent Spring in Massachusetts. They don't do that anymore, but there are a lot of other organizations that does do it. And I want to know what was in my system. Well, I had BPA, and I'm like, BPA, I don't even use plastic. How am I getting BPA in my body? So, and at that time, they were they'd get on the phone with me. It took about 5 minutes. She said, all right, walk me through your day. And I said, well, we have coffee in the morning. She's like, hold on, what do you drink coffee out of? I said, a mug. What do you make it out of? I said, a coffee pot. She's like, walk over there and open up the coffee pot. She's like, what do you see inside? I said, oh my gosh, plastic. It's all plastic.
Mm.
She said, yep, it heats up right when that hot water that pours into your coffee, all plastic. And I was like, wow. So those are the things you just have to pay attention to. Little things like that we now drink. We use a French press. I don't drink much coffee. I have like a half a cup a day or a cup. And we use a French press. I know one of my clients ended up getting, because they drink a lot of coffee, but they ended up getting a stainless steel coffee maker, and they're on the market. So it's little things like that I had no idea. Didn't even have a clue that I was drinking coffee that was basically heating up the plastic, and BPA was in my coffee.
Mm.
So, and BPA you definitely do not want in your system. And I eliminated it, had my urine tested again, and the levels were like way down. So I was happy about that. But those are just, you just have to pay attention to things, like that too. Everything that you're drinking. What are you drinking? Have your water tested. We could sit here and talk about an hour on water too, because our water in the United States is not great. And news reports just came out about the PFAS chemicals, which I've been following for many, many, many years, scared about what's in our water. Where I am in Buffalo, we have horrible water just because of the Great Lakes. It's all comes to the Buffalo area. And anything that goes down the toilet, flushed in it, pharmaceuticals, pesticides, herbicides, you name it. So we have a reverse osmosis system, which is probably the next thing I would have talked about would be your water and making sure you have a reverse osmosis on your water tap. And if not a reverse osmosis, get the best thing that you can. I think they have even some table or small units that you can use to get rid of some of the chemicals in your water. And I drink so much water every day, so I'm pretty adamant about that.
Wow, there's so many things we can do.
I know. Slow, take it slow, one step at a time. Environmental Working Group, if everybody doesn't know about that, look at Environmental Working Group. They have a lot of resources on there, but you can look up at what's in your water. If you just plug in Environmental Working Group, water, you can then put in your zip code and it'll tell you what's in your water.
EWG.org, is that?
Yep,
right?
ewg.org. Yep.
So they have the Dirty Dozen and the
Yes.
Clean 13 of the most pesticide-filled fruits and vegetables that you have to be sure to get organic and things like
Correct.
that. So that's a really useful list to take with you shopping and all that good stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
So it can be a really overwhelming subject, but just basically putting that filter in your mind, if it smells toxic, if the names of the chemicals on the back of the product sound toxic, if it's not natural, if it's not pure water, if it's not essential oils, do your best to get it out of the home, and then don't stress about the rest.
That's right. Take it slow. Don't overwhelm yourself, and you can have fun with it. I always tell everybody, you will start having fun with it, and you can't stress over it. You will start realizing that you'll start educating yourself on it all and start realizing what other great products are out there and try to have fun with it.
Yeah, it's an adventure. You just put on some music and have a cleaning party and get it all
Yes,
out of the house.
yes, absolutely. And some people are like, well, it's gonna be more expensive. No, you're gonna save money. You do not need 10 things to clean your house with. You do not need all these products that they want you to think you need to buy to do everything. So take it slow, and you'll have fun finding some new products that are out there.
And the more your health gets better, the more energy you have, and the more brain fog
Yes.
lifted, and you start to feel better and think better, and that's more fun too.
Yes, yes. I feel, a lot of the people that I work with, they sleep better, less chemicals, because your body's constantly trying to fight these chemicals off. Your immune system, you might not be as, getting colds all the time, and your body you'll start feeling a lot better. A lot of people don't know they feel bad until you start feeling better. And starting to eliminate these chemicals, you might start feeling a lot better.
Yeah, that's one of my challenges with patients and clients is, oh, I'm just getting old. Oh, it's just age. It's like, probably not. I know a lot of really old people that are really, really healthy. So I think it's more your toxins are building up and you need to just get it out of your body and get it out of your
Yep,
life. And then you'll start to feel 10 or 20 years younger.
I agree. Absolutely.
Well, it's an exciting journey. And thank you so much for this amazing introduction.
You're
If anyone
welcome.
wants to learn about you, your products and services, where can they go?
They can go to thegreenlivinggurus.com. All my social media links are on there. Under shop, you'll see all the things that we offer and suggest to people. And I'm pretty accessible. You can, reach out to me on the website. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, T. It's been an amazing interview and wonderful talking with you and
You
getting
too,
to know you
David.
this time. And we will talk with you next time.
Absolutely. Anytime. And thanks for having me on.
So welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I'm on a mission to touch the lives of over 10,000 cancer patients this year, and I want you to join me in this cause. So if you or someone you love is dealing with a cancer diagnosis right now, I want you to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel so you can continue to watch this life-changing content. There are a few links down in the description below to join a free private natural cancer support group on Facebook. You can join this group or invite any of your friends, especially cancer survivors. We need their input and emotional support in this group. For you or anyone that you love, click the link for 3cancerinsights.com to watch the short free presentation to understand how to transform your health, the right way to treat cancer, and ways to reduce cancer treatment side effects. I created the Cancer Detox course to support you and your loved ones through the cancer journey. I take you on a guided tour through the 7 pathways of healing, talk about the causes of cancer, the ways to reverse it, and how to integrate natural remedies into your conventional treatment plan if you so choose. And if you like to read, my book, Natural Home and Herbal Healing, is available on Amazon and Audible, and it takes you on a room by room guided tour of all the powerful healing remedies that can be found throughout your own home and property. So check out the links in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.